Welcome. I am Grammy Queen, and if you are joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. Okay, so I've got so many presentations that I'm wanting to do. It's like when there's a floodgate of information, it takes a lot of working into putting some sort of order, because the information comes and you have to, of course, play about with it. Now, of course, play about, I think, is a real good word for that. So I will be remembering to have fun in the process. So I have been touching on some very sensitive topics in that sense of feeling or black white equation of entrapment, and it's that kind of thing that I really had to, as they say, get it off my chest. Now, of course, I am also concerned that whatever I get off my chest is not really something to make one ill or anything like that, because I think it's very important that we do things constructively, especially if we do it with the focus of getting resolution. And I'm hoping I have done that, because I have looked at these issues, like I have looked at how the template to numerology that we have created, this has been done intuitively, and I'll just give you a sample of it. So I do have to rewrite some stuff because, of course, let's just do some of those things that I need to rewrite so you can get the essence of it. It's my pen. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, let's hope this one right. So it's here is inland revenue, so it's IR, so it's not the one I was just using. Okay. If you're new to this channel, the template has been devised intuitively around the sacrifice of Christ. So there we have, oh, this is worse. Sometimes you may be looking for something and it's right before your very eyes. Reminds me of a song. Okay, so headquarters zone, this is H, headquarters zone, Q, Z. Okay, hope you can see that. And here is Gypsy Journey, so that is G, P, Y. Okay, GPY. And here is Fox, as we know, Fox TV. Okay, so I do the Fox like it will across the X, because it's where we get our orientation, or reminding us to get our orientation here. And here we have new, NEW, that's the news, NEW. I'm going to have to do this again. So NEW, and of course we have DVM, development. That's where you go for your development. I'm going to try until I get that one that writes. Okay. And here is luck, L-U-C, L-U-C. Okay, that's where we try our luck. And of course that would be 639. So when we add all these numerical values, we get 369, 369, 369. We have those in 3 blocks. And then here we have BKT, which is, I call it the basket or the bucket of Kentucky, or whatever it is that one was indulging in. But it is the place, it is where I call the incubator. This is where the bee is, like the beehive, the incubator, or the addiction place. It's everything like that, things that really no longer serve us. So, of course, there is always, it has its need because it comes under the number 2, and 2 is partnership. So basically everything we do has a degree of input in this area. But do we want to get addicted? That's the thing we need to. So we are talking about partnership, agreement, duality, love, and all those things, and socializing, all the things that two people or two organizations or more or can be doing. But I also call it the beehive. This is where you can become so addicted, or you are imprisoned, or you are forced to do things that you don't really want to, and you just become submissive to whatever is happening. So this too basically is really crucial. Now I have showed on other templates how this would show, as you can see, BKT. So we already have two B and K, where black is, and the L is here and the A is here. So basically black is only in the sac, SAC. And then we talk about white would be WHI, and we have T. T comes back here. It's like being typically British, coming for your cup of tea right here. And so it's dipping into this place here and then going back to E, which is here. Then we say we here in this section. And so we see how I also took into consideration the color yellow that would actually shed some more light on this, figuratively I thought. But when I did do a tracking line on here, it is very closely related with how the white goes. So there is a jagged sign for black, and then we could imagine how the interplay, it's like the highway actually shows on here from the white to the black. Now I won't go too much into this now because I have covered the aspects of this in all of these presentations. But what I really want to focus on now as well, because is that I also touched on Uranus entering the second house. And if I am talking about astrology in the same vein, it is very appropriate because Uranus equals 22. And of course, we have been looking at the number 2 here. Not only that it is number 2, but it also forms number 4. So 2 plus 2 is 4. And then we see the bond. That B is actually can be 13 when the agreement is not bonded yet. But once you're in that same column, you're bonding. And that 13 was where Christ had his Last Supper with the disciples. Of course, they were 13. Now we know that that Judas, of course, for some reason, we say maybe the blood type that was being suggested at the table did not sink well in his stomach. So with all the other emotions, and of course he had a part to play, because we hear that Christ really had come to do this sacrifice. So we all are playing some major roles somehow in our lives and somebody else's. There's always a degree of impact. Now, I am like feeling grateful and thankful because it's like I'm beginning to remember that I came here to do something. And I think we need to remember, and I think that's what Uranus is going to do with us, particularly in the second house. So we are talking about number 2 there again. We are also talking about US. Now, there's another thing. US is number 4. Now we're talking about United States. I was thinking perhaps not, but why not? Because what I also discovered, in fact, I made note of it somewhere. Let's see if I can get hold of it. And I was very intrigued by what I discovered, that US is 4 because 3 plus 1 is 3 plus 1 is 31, so that's the reverse to the 13 that I'm talking about in the second column. So we can see another strong correlation why US is presented here again. Why would be, so US comes on the 4, and that means they had the direct peaking in this area. Likewise, we have the UK now. Oh, I saw a beautiful, UK is 5. UK is 5 and USA is 5, I must say. So that means, wow, which reminds me about Sophia. So USA, U comes here, USA comes here. USA, United States of America. And then we have UK, meaning UK. So we can see USA. We can see that the history that Black have gone through in particular, you can see that they had been in the sack, and you can see by the hands of who were in control right there. They didn't even bother to come from whatever. They stayed close to the sack because they had to monitor the sack. They had to ensure that things were happening, and so they gave people reverence, you know, to keep them quiet when they yelled, as in the color yellow. Okay, so I think I'm just, yeah, the other thing I wanted to point out is that Uranus, of course, would be the eighth, I think would be the eighth planet, which coincides, yes, the eighth planet, which coincides. Am I talking about? No, the 13th. Let's just say the 13th. Yeah, the 13th planet is 12 planets. Oh my, have I? No. Those 12 zodiac signs. Uranus is coinciding with this entrance of let us make man, because this is why it's the 8th planet. It's the 8th planet which is going to coincide with the 8 entrances that Mother Eve made here when Mother Eve said, let us make man in our own image. So I'm not going to go through the list again. You can check out the other vids that I have done if you like this. And so we see that this was the 8th entrance, and Uranus is going to be participating in this 8th entrance, the number 8 as well. So we have already seen how it corresponds with 22, because, and of course with Taurus, Taurus is equals 1, so that would be in numerical value. So that's 1 plus 22, or 2 plus 2 is 4, and 1 is 5. So we can see on the template, we are seeing that Uranus and Taurus together will be entering this new state right here. And that's what is going to happen. Of course, it's like they're going to eat of the fruit. They're going to have this communion going on here, because a fruit has to be eaten, and that is what we need to be getting ready for. Okay, I'm thinking and feeling that I ought to maybe just wrap this up, because there's so much more, but of course one needs rest as well. And there is one small short vid that I really want to do, and before I close altogether. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe and share. Thank you.